Welcome to the latest dope episode of the HipPodHedz podcast. A podcast where no sage and no vac discuss their hip-hop inspired moments. Pull up a chair, grab a beverage, fill up your cup and get comfortable.
I'm Hayes, host creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. And this, I love what Known Sage does. Y'all make sure y'all go and check out his hip hop podcast as well, which is HipPodHedz. You guys make sure you guys check him out on that.
You know, like obviously it's always, that's like the main thing at this point. So I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted about it. You know what I mean? It's got its benefits.
It's strong. It's a strong presence in music today because you think about being able to take an artist who's no longer with us and make them relevant again at this point. But the problem with AI is that, how do we know is that what Tupac felt? What he feels about, Donald Trump today. When he was alive, they were hanging out in this casino. So we don't know what it'd be like today emotionally, if you know what I mean.
True.
So think about something with no soul that basically is running the music industry, which is good and bad. We don't know how bad it could be, but it is possible right now. I mean, you had that one artist that was 100% AI. They ended up losing his record deal some type of way. We had an AI artist that lost their record deal, and I think it took 2 weeks for them to lose their deal some type of way. It was like a emoji that turned into an artist. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I guess because of like the backlash, like everybody was like, "This is crazy, this is whack." So it kind of, I don't know, it's coming. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's only like boxes. I guess in my eyes, it's only like a few boxes, man, available for people to be popping, right? So if you pass away and then you bring that person back, it like, removes a box for like a new artist, you know what I'm saying? So that's like the problem I have with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I totally respect that. I totally get it. I just started recording because we were diving into some of the content, but I would be remiss if I didn't give Cornell some flowers here, my man. Like, bro, thank you for joining HipPodHedz. This is a hip hop dream in my mind come true. We finally came full circle with the my old crew, the Third Islander affiliates, Third Islanders. Shout out. You're the last one, man. You're the last man standing. So we got you on the show. We appreciate you, bro.
I feel bad. It took me a while, man, but
Hey.
we good. You know what I'm saying? And like the timing is good, like I mentioned before. So this is great.
That's great. We got, like, me and Novak are going to talk plenty about a lot of your projects and a lot about your content, of course. And man, I mean, you're obviously known in the music world as Surfboard C, a dynamic force in the arts and business sectors. So you've been teaming up with Nether Friends, Chris Crack, Video Dave, obviously, another Third Islander guy, and Smoke Benito, showcasing your versatile talent and music collaboration. Bro, like the Nether Friends joints, I know we're going to like dive into a lot of it, but like I know you did a couple projects with them and always super clean, always super amazing. I just love it when you collab with those guys.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I love working with him, man. He's amazing producer and he just could do it all. And he kind of just like, we have like a wave, man. It just, our workflow is real, swift, and he pushes you. He wants that. He wants you to work, what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's like, I tell people it's like being in a gym, what I'm saying? Like rap gym, what I'm saying? It's like, I'm saying it's like he's cooking up the beats. He wants you to get it done. So it always works out well.
I love that. Also, you obviously dive into the realm of furniture and interior design with some of your other things that you've been doing, like where you excel as marketing and media specialist. So I always know that you got like an eye for design and for flair. And if it's not obvious in your bars, like, the allure is always there, my bro. I appreciate that.
I appreciate it. Yeah, man. I love that stuff. It's just like a world, man. Like, I don't know. I grew up, like southeast in like Chicago. So it's like, you got to think like over there, like, design is just like a big part of just like the world. Like the houses are really like amazing. Yeah. The commercial, like buildings are really like designed like amazingly. So it's like, I grew up around that without even, You know what I'm saying? I didn't even have like the words, you know what I'm saying? But I just knew like, oh, I'm living in this environment. So, becoming an adult, it just was in me. I just kind of like, I went towards it.
I get it. I dig it. So I invoke Video Dave, and I want you to say a word about him because obviously he was the mastermind behind the Third Islanders. But like you two have always been doing your collabs and been doing your thing, and I felt like an outsider looking into like the SIU sort of like safe space of like there's been like a lot of like amazing art greats that have gone in and out of that like campus. So like, what is it about that I don't know that time that you were there? Because like even Video Dave told me privately like I think you were the one that actually taught him how to like do beats. So like that's kind of like it's like earth shattering to my understanding what y'all do.
Yeah, it's wild to think about. I think that it's like, what I'm saying? I think it just like, like incubator, man. That's how I
Yeah,
look at it in terms
right.
of like, it's like an incubator for like Chicago artists in many ways, you know what I'm saying? Because we're up here, especially, like, what I'm saying, the time period of that, it's like you're coming of age, right? And like Chicago, it was rough and all that. So it's like, man, you want to be an artist. It's like a place to go. You learn. It's like it's like you're getting your degree.
Yeah, man.
Like you meeting people and I'm just making your art and just yeah, man. It's funny. I think about him a lot because he's one of those people, man. That when I met Dave, I just wanted to be around him. I was like, oh yeah, this cat, like he gets it, man. So I want to be like around this dude. That's what I put out, like into like the world. Like I really want to be like around this guy. And it's so crazy because, what I'm saying, we moved around, what I'm saying, like around the country and all this stuff, but
Yeah.
it's like around each other, like always. You know what I'm saying, and I think about that a lot, like, what I'm saying, like we in LA, in New York and Miami, all these places, and like we always, I want to connect, just like he's just brilliant, man. I knew it, I'm saying like back then, what I'm saying, like, man, this guy's gonna be my friend, what I'm saying, forever.
Fast friends. That's nice. That's nice.
Well, I mean, you can see that chemistry, especially on B's knees. That chemistry that you guys got on that track, man, it's like explosive almost. It's like that's one of those tracks that you listen to and you just like, why is it only 4 minutes and 35 seconds? You didn't think like I know you guys had other bars, you didn't spit on that one. So it's almost like you listen to that, like where's the remix pretty much.
Yeah, man, that's dope, man. It's like it's crazy too, because I was out there, like we were in LA when we did that. And I kind of was running around and like the homies was like, at Dave's house. He's like, yo, we got this beat, like we need you on this, you know what I'm saying? So I get out there, man, and I jumped on it. It turned out to just be like amazing, man. Like you never know, like in the moment, like you never know, but it really hits, man. I love that song.
Yeah. You can definitely feel the energy on that song. I mean, it's like riding a roller coaster. It gets to that top and then but it don't drop. It just keeps going. It's continuous. It continues verbal violence. The best way to put it in that situation.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
So man, like some of your other resume, bro, like obviously you're all around creative and you got an impressive portfolio, in my opinion, but definitely want to give you your flowers. So some of your clients, Thought Catalog, Bravo from NBC, obviously, and U Chicago, Breakfast Media, man, Breakbeat Media, bro. Like you've been a driving force behind a lot of it through the audio production side. I mean, man, like
Weird. It's just like a time thing, though, man. It's like I look at it like I just been at it forever, man. So it
Yeah.
just kind of built up over a while. You know what I'm saying? I try to just I went to college for like production and all that stuff, and you know what I'm saying, with even stuff like that's like the way we like connected, man. Just like, what I'm saying, in college, you know what I'm saying, with access to like all of this, like, it's like, like equipment.
Yep.
Yeah, just throughout, what I'm saying, I guess like throughout my like adulthood, man, like even when like I go like away from that, I try to just remember like, man, this is what I'm passionate about. This is what like I love to do. You know what I'm saying? I love to create and I love like the tech and just like combining all that. So I try to just, you know what I'm saying, I try to hustle, man. And, you know, being back here in like Chicago, I'm really trying to hustle and just like, you know, build and just like continue to build, man. You know what I'm saying? Just like a name for myself, you know, because like, you know, to me, it's one umbrella, right? You have like it's like my music, you know what I'm saying, my design work, you know what I'm saying, the marketing work, all that stuff. It's all one umbrella, you know, being creative, you know what I'm saying, for currency, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
that's like the way I look at it too. Like at this point, like the you know, but the music, it's like, you know, we make money, you know what I'm saying, like here and there, saying residuals and all that, but it's like I don't look at it like I do it for free. You know what I'm saying? I do it like for currency. And like whatever that may be. It may be like, you know what I'm saying, the time we spend, it may be like the vibes we get from each other. You know what I'm saying? But that's like all like it's one umbrella for me. It's just all the same. I just want to be creative. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you know what I'm saying? I kind of like began as like a kid in like the basement at like my grandmother's house, you know what I'm saying, being creative. So I look at like adulthood as like just like a line, you know what I'm saying, from when I was like, you know what I'm saying, a kid to now, you know what I'm saying? And that's like, for me, that's my version of like success. You know what I'm saying? Can I just, you know, can I be on the line from when I was like a kid till now? You know what I'm saying?
Love that. I love that because I've heard that about your work ethic. Like you just sort of like to keep content going, almost like you brought up the athlete analogy earlier. And then even if we see the content or not, I always thought that you're always working. You invoked like sort of making a name for yourself. So like I thought it was interesting when I first met you, you were going by the moniker Concept or Concept Ali. Along the way, you shifted to Super Toy. And now you're obviously doubling down on your Surfboard C. But along the line, along the way, my Wu-Tang head, like you've had many like pseudonyms you spit in some of your songs. It's kind of like I almost feel like every track you're dropping, you got like a new pseudonym. Like you got like Black Jerry, Black Fruit Punch, Circumference. I'm like, man, bro, like that in my mind feels like a constant creator that wants to, you know, just keep on like redefining yourself.
Yeah, man. And like you got like in terms of like the reference, I'm like a Wu-Tang baby. I'm saying so just like the vibe of just like, you know, switching it up on them, like, you know what I'm saying, names, that's just always like a vibe to me, man. But yeah, it's funny because the name change, you know what I'm saying, I don't know, Surfboard C, it wasn't like intentional. It was supposed to be a design project. I was like, yeah, I'll make some, you know what I'm saying, you know, some records to go with it. And I don't know, I guess the way people like reacted, I was like, oh, I think I got something here. So I just kind of went with it, but it wasn't even on purpose, man. It wasn't even, it just was like a joke initially. And I spoke about this like in the past. I was in like this accident. So it was like a freak accident, man. This guy was running from the police and, you know what I'm saying, like he ran into me and all this other shit. So I was like on medicine afterwards, and it was just like a joke. Like, you know what I'm saying, I said it as like a joke, and I was like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. And I was like, man, this could be like a project, like some type of like design project, whatever. Saying design like the merch and all that stuff. And I was like, yeah, I'll make a few records to go with it. And it just took off. So I was like, yeah, I must be onto something. So I'll go with this. You know what I mean?
But the personas, you think the personas that you create, basically, they, you know, you take those characters on. It's like MF Doom if you think about it. You know, when I was listening to Super Toy, and I'm like sitting there and listening to it, and you compare Super Toy to Surfboard C, you compare it to other alias. You know, like every alias has got a different fighting style. You think about the Wu-Tang. You know, everybody's got a different way of like squaring up with you. You like, you know, you open up on the Lobster Jam, man, and it's just like the whole style. Like it's a different point in your life. That's like 2013, but you can hear the hungry bars, and then you listen to the newer stuff, and you're like, he's still hungry, but the complexity changed, the beat pattern. You know, like on the Lobster Jam, you change the beat a lot on the production side. Like, you know, you start spitting on something. This thing, you know, you chop it up, you change it, you put it back out there. I'm like, that's nice. You know, like. I think that album, like, you know, I know when Jay sent it to me earlier, I had heard it before because, you know, I was doing my research, and I was like, I wonder why he sent this one over. This is interesting. You know, like, No Say sends you something. He's listened to it 100 times that day. And I'm like, okay, let me listen again. So I was on my meeting today listening to it, and somebody says something on the call, but it tied into Let 'Em Go. And so and I was like, okay, oh, okay, all right. I see where you're going with this, man. I might be able to use this at work. So like I would say, like, using, art sometimes to change the mood of a call, man. You're the Lobster Jam definitely changed the mood of my call for 2 hours today. Definitely, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm honored to hear that, man. I'm humbled to hear that, man. I appreciate the like support and everything. I think I just kind of like I say, I'm just like a Wu-Tang baby and really just a hip hop head. You know what I'm saying? I look at like the details of just like the greats, you know what I'm saying? And it's not just the music, it's like a world that they're building around it. You know what I'm saying? So I try to do that, you know what I'm saying? I think that, you know what I'm saying, celebrity is kind of like the context to it's almost like the glue in those cases, but I'm doing it like without the actual like celebrity. It's just like I'm just building my world out. You know what I'm saying? Because when it pops, it's like you have like a world to visit and exist in as like a listener. You know what I'm saying?
And the ecosystem. I know that ecosystem you're building right now. If you think about it, if Super Toy squared up right now with Surfboard C on the album, you did a versus album like that, man, that'd be ridiculous.
An idea. Now that's an idea I might run with. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even gonna lie to you. Yeah, I still love that vibe, man. It's like I think about it in terms of like what does it mean? Like when it's like you make the art and you walk away from it. I try to like examine it like after the fact, like what is this? You know what I'm saying? Like where was I at? And I think that in like the past, I think the art was like about like, what I wanted, you know what I'm saying, in life, stuff like that, like, inspiring to this and that. And I think that the art I make at this point is more so about like, okay, like I kind of can like say I've achieved like some things I wanted to achieve, experience some things that I wanted to experience or whatever. So what is that, you know what I'm saying? So what does that mean? Like creatively, like what does that mean? So that's why, like, if you look at like the flow and all that stuff, it's like a bit different. It's like relaxed. It's like I'm more like content, like as a person, not like creatively. I'm never content, but just like as like a person, I'm like, okay, like I don't have to be like so like I want this. I'm saying that's like the vibe of like the music in the past. I felt like I was kind of like frustrated, as like an artist, as a person, just like career wise. And I was just like, man, like this is like the outlet for me, like to get all this out and put this out, like into the world. You know what I mean? And I think that today I look at it a bit differently. It's like okay, like I say, I've achieved some things. What can I do to be like a example for other people who want to, who want to do it?
Right.
I dig that. So I know we were sharing a little bit off air, like our parenting skills and trying to brush that off. Like obviously all of us are dads here. Like do you feel like your offspring has been like interested in your art or trying to create their own type of music in that way? I never actually like got to ask you that question because I was always curious.
Yeah, he's real creative, man. He's worked on music with me in the past. Done like a bunch of things, together. He's on like a few of my albums and stuff like that.
Oh,
like credited at times, and then like at times he just in the background, you know what I'm saying? Like that's his picture like behind you, obviously.
Oh, for real? Bro. Okay, so if you kind of like created sort of like a caricature of it.
Yeah, yeah. So the thing is he dressed up as this, like you know what I'm saying? Like it's his mom, did this, saying so it was like, so it's like a picture of this in my house. I'm saying like a real picture. And it was just like amazing to everybody. So I was like,
yeah,
I'm with that for like my new album. So
the
artist to make a rendering of it. Yeah, so that's him. Like as a baby. Yeah. Yeah, and he's on the album like a few times in the background as a baby, like always been involved, man. And but at this point it's kind of like, what I'm saying, he's in the basketball and
sure, yeah.
I feel like he's in that period of like not like rebellion, but he wants to figure out his ways. I'm saying because he always wanted to rap and be around us, but now it's like he's kind of like, nah, But I feel like it's more so just him kind of like, figuring out his wave, like what he wants to do and the way he wants to approach it. But yeah, he's real creative, man. You know what I'm saying? Real fly dude with the clothes, and you know what I'm saying? He kind of like he gets it. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, I trust his advice, you know what I'm saying,
Sure.
as well.
Yeah, man.
His eye is real good as well. So, you know what I'm saying?
He started off Flap the Lobster suit, so he came in the door that way. I
He
mean,
came out hard, right? You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
he started a certain way. So,
Yeah.
man, when they find their identity and stuff like that, and figure out who they are, it is amazing when you start talking fashion with your kids. So you start talking like, "How would you rock this?" or "What? Why do you like that?" So like the other day, man, me and my kid were in the car, and Bad Bunny came on, and she's like, "I like how the song opens up, but why is he yelling demon at the beginning? Can we yell something else?" And I'm like, what do you want him to say? She's just like, "I want to remix it." I'm like, "You want to remix the Bad Bunny song?" She's like, "Yeah." So he doesn't use the beat right. And I'm like, "Oh, you can use the beat right." So we're going back and forth in the car. And like my wife looked at me like, "What does she mean she can use the beat better?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it." So, these kids are different, man. They're more creative. They got better tools. I told her the other day, like, you guys can do so much that we couldn't do. Just think about we're the kids of I want a laptop, I want a computer. These are the kids of I have an iPad, a phone, and I have a computer, and I have your stuff. So I'm like, it's crazy how much tech they got.
It's crazy, man. That's why I was told a friend about this like a week or two ago. Like, really, in terms of like the tech, like in music, especially, like I paid my dues. I'm saying I've seen rocked on, you know what I'm saying, cassette tapes, and you know what I'm saying, like all that. Like, so it's like just, for them just to have like, I don't know, it's at their fingertips, you know what I mean? So it's cool to see like the way they express themselves because it's so easy.
That's amazing, man. Like, I honestly didn't know that story about, because I was going to ask you, where did the artwork come from? And I think the lobster mythos is almost like a pseudonym in itself, right? Because it's kind of dope that you do this world building with all these projects. So it's like, if I'm not going to name myself as this moniker, let me just call the project this, and that, own it. So like, I wanted to get into some of your other stuff too, bro, because like you're putting out work, man. So like, basically, I've heard rumblings about this pod, but I still haven't checked it out yet. So I didn't realize the collect calls with Suge Knight. So you were like sort of behind the scenes on some of that.
Yeah. So it was kind of like a project they had been attempting to make for a while. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, logistically it's hard when like the subject of the podcast is in prison. So a friend of mine, he'd been working with Breakbeat, and he brought me onto like the project to fix like, the actual logistics of how can we like record him, you know what I'm saying? Split it, you know what I'm saying? So we have the host, we have Suge and whoever else. And we did like a few episodes of it at the beginning. I think I worked up to like the 5th or 6th episode of it. You know what I'm saying? We set like the framework for how it should go. And I kind of like, was like, we had this, the moment of like, so visually, what is it going to look like? I mean, because the audio is one problem.
Yes.
Okay, we fix that. So what does this look like from a visual, like perspective? So the AI, like I said, I've been working with that like at work a lot, and I was like, man, I know like a few options for this. So I made some like examples of like, Suge with the AI, and we sent it over to his wife, and his wife was into it. This is like amazing, it's captivating. So it just kind of like went from there, man. It's, it was like some wild experience, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, because like, okay, for one, like, okay, it's a great opportunity, but it's like, it's Suge Knight. You know what I'm saying? So it's like at a point, it's like you have to have like, the talk, like, because if I'm running that, it's like I can't be like, in my mind, I can't be like, yo, do this over. You know what I'm saying? It's Suge Knight. So the point, we had like the talk, like, yeah, he was like, if you think I could do something better or do this or whatever, let me know. It's cool. I'm open to whatever, like advice. I was like, all right. Kind of roll from there, man. And yeah, it's cool, man. You know what I'm saying? I like podcasting in terms of like the back end. I like being on the back end of that and just kind of like, working with like the tech and smoothing out things and all that stuff. So amazing experience, man. I'm looking like to build off of that, get into like some more like production. Because I've produced podcasts in the past, but like obviously wasn't as big as this, you know what I'm saying?
Well, of course. Man, yeah, I've been waiting to try to dive into it because I've heard from my favorite podcast guy, he was like saying, I don't know if everything he's saying is qualified, but he needs to say whatever he's saying because he's spilling the tea. I heard like he's going in. I heard he's going all in.
It really is. And that's the thing too, like in my eyes, everybody was like, yeah, but he's this bad guy. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. But if you look at the space, you know what I'm saying, the podcast space, people like, it's rumblings about him like always.
Oh, yeah.
So just as a man, I'm like, he should be able to like defend himself against all these people, like, you know what I'm saying? So that was the hook for me, like to get me involved. Like he should be able to defend himself at least. You know what I'm saying? But now it's gotten to like a new wave where people, you know what I'm saying, they bickering about it on this podcast, and I'm just kind of like, oh, I don't need to be involved in this when, you know what I'm saying, the heat come down and shit. But
So working with him, there was at any point in time you felt like you couldn't, you felt like, you felt that tension on the podcast. Was it ever tense or?
It's not, because it's kind of like the tension. Above all was just he kind of would listen to like an episode and feel like, oh, I mentioned some things that I didn't want to mention, or he may have like a piece where he talks and he's kind of like, I want to do that over. So that's where the tension would come in, because then he's hitting me up on my phone directly, and I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? So, I just can't believe it. You know what I'm saying?
You have to say on your phone as the bro? Or what we got?
You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, yo, like, I'm one of them people, like I say, man, I'm really in it, man. I remember, you know what I'm saying, when Snoop album, you know what I'm saying, dropped, I was in the basement and I turn it over and I see like a name, like, I never seen this person before. So it's like, I got those memories, man, of like him is just like the figure, saying, from being like a kid, you know what I mean? So it blew my mind, man. But in terms of just like overall, his energy is pretty positive, man. And he kind of just wants to express himself and shit like that. I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, as best as he can, for sure, for sure. So to step back again, bro, like I know folks might not know about this Lobster project because I was sending it to Novak because I was like, I know Surf like did all the beats on this album. And then it's kind of like the thing that you being a constant creator, it's like, I think you can obviously produce your own stuff like whenever you want, but I think it's kind of nice that you kind of also take a step back and collaborate with some folks, like obviously like a Topher Gray or Nether Friends or, whoever, to kind of like tap into what they got going. So yeah, I'm just kind of curious, like if you could say a word about like what it's like to kind of like be on the production side as opposed to like, not, because it's almost kind of like what Suge was coming from, right? It's like you almost want to have control, but you also want to give up the control too, right?
Right.
So kind of like for the finished product.
Exactly. And it's just like a time thing as well. Like I look at it at this point in my life, like just the energy of being able to focus on one thing, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just focused on my writing and kind of like, know what I'm saying, performing the vocals, opposed to like trying to do everything, you know what I'm saying? So, with Topher especially, man, we have our rapport. He's like my brother, man, so he is my brother, you know what I'm saying? So we have our rapport. It's easy, you know what I'm saying? We could do like an album in a weekend, it's really, you know what I'm saying? And we've done that like in the past.
Electric Neon, we test, my bro.
Things moving out there, man, and just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we cooked up. So it's just kind of like, yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of a part of like, a lot of shit, man. It's all connected, right? Like I say, so it's like, like your mental health, you know what I'm saying? Like traumatic events and shit as like a child, like people feel like, you have to like control everything in life and shit like that. And for me, a big part of like, I guess like a backseat on the like production is kind of like relinquishing control. You said before, and being like, okay, it's like I trust my team and my people to do like a good job, and I'll do my part, and we'll make something amazing. So yeah, I like the experience though. I enjoy making beats and composing, you know what I'm saying, but I like to hear like what they got, you know what I'm saying, as well. Like, you know what I'm saying, like Smoke Bonito, you know, that's
Sure.
like the vibe at the moment. We got like a new album on the way, Smoke and Surf. Um,
And
just like a moment like of genius in like, you know what I'm saying, the studio. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, I think Rockwell, man, he kind of pitched that as like a name. Saying he was like Smoke and Surf. So I
yes.
was like, shit. So I bought the website like immediately.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Like in like the moment. So I bought that shit and me and Smoke, like, you know, we go do this. So it took us a while to figure out like, you know, saying logistics and everything. And then he had moved into like a new like apartment, and it was like, you know, like a lot bigger. He built out, you know, like a room to really, you know, work on his music and stuff like that. And it just kind of worked out, man. And yeah, man, he just has like an energy, man, that's just like his passion for his music.
Right.
So like amazing. And I think that you know what I'm saying, together, I don't know, we have like a thing. It's hard to even explain. I think I just bring like the mentorship and the work ethic and just being able like to be dependable, like, okay, so we go hook up this week, we go do this shit. Saying we
Sure.
go get, you know, we go get like the mastering them, go get like the artwork and
Yes.
really like do it, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like he's just killing it, man. He's killing it. Like obviously, you know what I'm saying, with you know, with like the placements and everything. You know, he's on Mike Eagle's albums and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Dave's album, he produced like a whole album for Dave. You know what I'm saying? He's killing it, man. And I just feel like, you know, I think we push each other to make like a new vibe, you know?
I can't wait for the Smoke Bonito project to come out. Like, this might not be the right analogy, but I'm thinking about if we ever do see that Ye Dollar Sign album, how they kind of like made their collapse just one symbol. So if you got the Smoke and Surf, you obviously got two emojis together, and you know, magic happens. But bro, like it's dope. Like my brain's going to so many places because you saying that you wanted to buy the website immediately, Smoke and Surf, like that just makes me feel like you're conscious of the world building and you're conscious of the visual aspect to it all. Because one of my favorite producers, Danger Mouse, right, the guy who collabed obviously with CeeLo and countless others, like I read somewhere he approaches each project not like as a producer but like as like a filmer or like a director. It's kind of like he wants to create like a filmmaking vibe every time he's making a project.
That's the way, man. You have, especially today, it's like the world is visual and
Yeah.
just kind of like, you know, when you have like, you know, visual elements, man, you could put like all of the components in it. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? You have like the moving image, obviously, you know what I'm saying? But then you have like the fashion, like the music, like the swag. It just all, it gives you an opportunity, like I said, like to build a world, and, you know, it draws people in because, you know, people release like a bunch of music, you know what I'm saying, like every day, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, there are millions of people who upload, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of just like, so what can you do like to be different? You know what I'm saying? And just express yourself like, you know, to like the maximum degree. Like, what is this like with the resources that we have in this moment? Like what could we do to, you know, to make the most of it?
You think about what you just hit on. You said the swag, what you wearing, what you eating, everything, plays into that whole album situation or just that project creation. Because you think back to even when Jay-Z dropped certain albums, it was the scene in Brooklyn outside the club, the cars pulling up, it's the A-Rest jackets, it was the Timberlands, that whole vibe. And it made people go out there and ride that wave to look just like everybody in the video. So, I know why you bought the website URL, because the domain, you're thinking in terms of like, man, what can I visually do with smoking a board and a surfboard? You think about it, and everybody comes there trying to figure out what smoke and surf means, and the fact that we have legalized weed in this country in most places. And it's brilliant because you could play on that imagery so many different ways. That surfboard, I mean, the anime scene with that, we always go back to animation. Before AI came, it's always animating something. Then you can take AI and actually take smoke into a whole video and never be there.
Yep, exactly. You have to be there, right? And and so it's kind of like, yeah, I looked at the visual opportunity and just like the culture too, like, things could be elevated, what I'm saying, with the weed and stuff. Because I was in LA for like a long time, and I saw people build like, some companies that may not be like I guess like directly in like the cannabis, saying, but like the cannabis, like, you know what I'm saying, like adjacent or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, I was like, oh, this is like the wave, because it can be elevated. Saying it could be like, you know what I'm saying, it could be an ashtray, or like, you know what I'm saying, whatever, just like things that are like adjacent to like the business. And I kind of was like, being like immersed in all that, I realized like, oh yes, opportunity, and it's like smoke and surf, like it's craziness. See, like, you know what I'm saying? It's a couple of things like alone. So imagine combining them, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's just kind of like, wow, man. And I feel like with the music, you know what I'm saying? But it's like most things, right? You know what I'm saying? Like with Jay-Z, like you mentioned before, I think I got from him, and this is all like, it all aligns, is that like the music though is the foundation. So the music has to be good. I'm saying it's like the rest of the shit is cool, but it don't work if the music isn't good. You know what I'm saying? So for us, it's just been about like getting that right. You know what I'm saying? And like our chemistry was good. We worked together a lot like in the past, but to sit down with somebody for like a full album, you know what I'm saying, it's different. You know what I'm saying? You build like a friendship, and you know what I'm saying, and you vibe out, you know what I mean? So like I feel like the music is good, you know what I'm saying, what we want to do, with the visuals is good. And I'm just pumped. I'm really pumped.
Well, I can't wait. I can't wait till it drops, because obviously you got some of the homies that we've actually potted with before. Obviously, Iowa Rockwell and Video Dave. I didn't want to steal some of the stuff you got teased out for it. But we haven't had Smoke Benito on our show yet, so there'll be a dope collab or a dope conversation with him, I would say. Bro, man, so like the visuals on the surfboard, right? So like I know Iowa Rockwell gets this question a lot. Have you been to Iowa? I'm not sure how many times he had. He even told me there was a Rockwell, Iowa. Surfboard, like, do you surf? Like, what's going on? I know you're riding the waves with the bars, but like,
The thing was,
how do you approach that question, my man?
was, you know what I'm saying, I felt like, in the moment, you know what I'm saying, I was on like the West Coast and shit like that. But I grew up, like I say, just kind of like in it, man. Like I loving like Pharrell and all that stuff. So, you know what I'm saying? So it was like homage to him. You know what I'm saying? Skateboard P, you know what I'm saying? I'm Surfboard C, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And then like, so Pimp C as well, who I love as an artist. So it's kind of like like homage to them. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, I boogie board stuff. I've done that. I've never been like, you know what I'm saying? So it's not even like, oh, I'm out here, really doing it. Eventually, I do want to like get into it. I think that at a point I'll move back to LA or something like that and really like get into it. But I've seen cats here on waves, man. Like a few weeks ago, actually, I was like up north, and it was like, you know what I'm saying, some dudes out there with their boards, man, hitting the waves like pretty hard. I was like, damn. I really was impressed. I didn't know you could do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like Midwest, like, oh damn. So you never know.
He's riding a different wave.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, that's crazy.
It's cats, right?
Yeah, I definitely see what you're saying. Like you think in terms of like, with buying that domain, you think about, things intentionally blow the right way they blow. You even think about like, how Snoop is, Wiz Khalifa is. To them, this is prime marketing to them at this point. You're gonna attract other people just by putting that domain, that content out there. Because they'll start trying to figure out, what's this movement? Do I need to be a part of this movement? It's crazy, but it will wave that way if you build it, they'll come. The best way to look at it.
My motto, man. That's my motto. That's real talk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Yeah, and just kind of like, for like commerce, I look at it too. Like, if you look at even like the biggest artists, like the music on its own is not like the revenue, you know what I'm saying? It's not the biggest, like, so it takes other things.
Yeah, 100%. So, I think you've only done 2 projects with Iowa and Topher. Like, obviously, on each of their projects, you would all feature, right? But like the electronic neon weed test we were talking about just a moment ago, and then the project. Did y'all drop it last year or the year before that?
Yeah, I think that was 2023. Yeah, it was.
Right. Try me and I'll show you, man. So like, I don't know. Say a word about like collabing with those 2 guys, because it's kind of, I feel like y'all create magic. I feel like y'all create like in other worlds. Like I was joking with Novak, like I didn't know I should be into these horses, and then all of a sudden you got these horses running the field free, like unsaddled. Like, all right, I guess I got to ride that surf wave as well.
Into it, yeah, man. That's what's up. But in terms of the horses too, I'm just like, I like the fact that my guys that they trust me to do this like creative direction always. And I'm just like, I
Yeah,
can't have an idea, but I think people will be into it. But yeah, just I don't know. I love those albums. I love like the process behind it. And it's magic, man, because what I'm saying, people have like responsibilities and shit like that. So it's just a moment. It's like it has to like align to where we all fit and do it, what I'm saying, together. So yeah, man, that process, what I'm saying, with Topher cooking up the beats, it's crazy, man. Like the first project we did in Vegas,
sure.
what I'm saying, because I had went to like this art exhibit, what I'm saying, this like Terrell exhibit out there. This guy, he makes like, what I'm saying, he makes these like he makes like immersive art, what I'm saying. So I went, with like some friends and stuff like that, and I told the guys like, yo, I think we should do like a trip like to Vegas, what I'm saying. It's this exhibit out there, we could do it, make an album. And it was like a little bit of pushback at first, like, what? Like do an album in Vegas? I'm like, no, like it'll be dope. So we get out there, man, and we're trying all the weed and we're doing acid and all this stuff, what I'm saying? And the album just it came out like really amazing. And like the newer one, what I'm saying, it was kind of like a bit more reserved, what I'm saying, but like the process was just like incredible, like, what I'm saying, with Topher, because it was a thing where it's like we there with him and like he's making the beats like in real time. I'm saying we're writing to the beats in real time, and it just all just worked out the way it was supposed to. Um, it's just magical, man. It's magical. And it's one of those things where it's like I'm always wishing we could do it a bit more often, but that's like the magic of it. You know what I'm saying? That it only can work, when we're all aligned,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think I want to mention too, saying like with Topher, his family is really into like the horse game and shit. So like,
Oh, really? We didn't get into that conversation when he was on the show.
saying, and like, his sister is like a rider. They're like really big into that shit.
Wow.
That was like a big part of my like creative direction. I was like, yeah, his people are really into this, so I think that'll be dope.
I dig that, man. Topher is definitely out of this world type of dude, but he also like taps into out of the earthly things and don't fuck the earth up type stuff. So that's nice to know. You spilled that a bit, and obviously you were featured on his project that dropped this month too. So that was nice as well, man.
Cool. Yeah, I love that song as well.
Topher, great.
What album I want to ask about? That Breast Rapper Alive. Big man. I was listening to Big earlier today, and I was sitting there in the background listening to it. I'm like, man, he is really on something right now. Yeah.
I appreciate, that's crazy. I kind of forget about that project. That was like all time. It was like a friend of mine. Yeah, she had, and I was just inspired. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh, this is cool. And I like the acronym saying as well, saying because says bra. So I was like, oh, this is crazy. Yeah, so yeah, I just kind of went with it, man. You know what I'm saying? But that was like my like comedic shit. So I like to be like a little like comedic at times with the bars and enjoy myself. You know what I'm saying? I try to, to keep that alive, the part of it alive, just like the fun part.
Bro, I love it whenever you double down to your comedic bits, bro, because like it adds to the old musical richness experience. Because like you also had some visuals where you had sort of like the Rushmore, right? So like I like that as well when you tap into your what character was that? Max?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like thematically, man, like Rushmore, that's like my favorite, you know what I'm saying, movie probably of all time, stuff like that.
Right.
Feeling, man. So so like Topher, he actually produced that whole album.
Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of just like, a vibe, man. And like thematically too, a lot of like the like I guess the themes from that project I've taken over, like you know, I like continue with like my newer albums and stuff like that. I try to just build like that world, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like with Dave even,
Yes,
I feel
sir.
like thematically, you know, he dropped this album, which is like amazing. And I feel like the new album I'm doing, you know, Smoke and Surf is like it's almost it's like a companion to that, like in a way, in my mind, like like thematically at least, because if you look at like the cover art, you know what I'm saying, for Dave's album, it's born out of like a moment to where we like we're all like in LA and we had like a riff about like art at the beach. And it was and so like we all were out there and it just turns like this whole thing. And that's like the cover art for his album. So and he's on my new album as well. And it just kind of like it all just connects, man. So like I try to have like the themes, man. And with the movies, like I say design, you know what I'm saying? Just like all of it, man. Like, yeah. So with that Rushmore joint, that to me, it really it meant like a lot to me, like to make that.
Bro, like you mentioned Video Dave. I actually and he's obviously been brought up in the conversation a bunch, but I secured a vinyl for us too, me and Novak. We finally got that articulated textiles vinyl. The visuals are amazing. Obviously, the content is dope. It's kind of nice that you're talking about the photo shoot because I think he was telling us he had to kind of travel to some beaches and he just wasn't sure if he would get it right and he found the right shot. So yeah, like it speaks volumes. So I can't wait to see the cover art for the project you're talking about with Smoke Benito.
So
So the other thing too, man, like when I shared with Novak on that that Black Jerry video you did, where did you pick up the pirate shirt? Like, did you just find that at some random pirate?
it probably was Amazon, man. It just was crazy, man. Like, cause that's like a thing, you know. So when I put it on, and I was like, "Oh shit!" It's like I just became him. Like in that moment,
Yeah.
I put on the shirt. I was like, "It's crazy," and then the wig, you know, what I'm saying, was wild. Shirt is what I put on that shirt, man, and I just became. I'm saying, I just became that man, and that was like a moment, man. I really enjoyed doing that, and again, I was really like surprised at the reaction.
Yes.
And like, you know what I'm saying? Like the network hit me up and they retweeted me and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm just kind of like, what's going on? Like, but that's like my show, man. You know what I'm saying? I love Seinfeld. You know, he's kind of like you know, just in real life, he's dope, like obviously doing all this stuff. But the character he plays, I don't know. I just learned like a lot from him, man. And I just kind of like I love the show. So I'm like super fan. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that video, bro. I just like as fly as Iowa Rockwell is and Video Dave and Topher, of course. I can't see them rocking the wig and the pirate the pirate outfit like you, man. You just like, you know, owning the comedic style whenever you can.
I'm just committed to the bit. That's what they say. To the bit, you know what I mean? So you got to do that.
Got to stay committed for the art, all for the art, baby.
When you think about you work with other friends, you know, that Insecure as Fuck album, that album is that album, man. You listen to it and you just like, I understand it. You know, it's like, you know, you talk about the insecurities of hidden opportunities. The first time I listened to that song, I started laughing because I'm like, it is true. That is very true. And I was like, you keep listening to the song, you're like, okay, they're making a lot of sense right now. The way you guys play the word insecure almost in every track on that album is amazing. Every track basically leads up to somebody having like an awakening moment, pretty much, and saying that, you know what, I really do have a problem.
Yeah.
And that's trying to convey the whole album is like, I got a problem. You know, you get like by that ninth track, you realize I've listened to the whole Insecure album. What are my insecurities?
Right.
You know,
That's dope,
yeah.
man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I really enjoyed making that one as well. That was like a bomb album to make. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was just like a thing that people could like relate to and just like bombard them with it, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody has like a thing. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I really enjoyed making that album. That's some heat on. I kind of forgot about that one. There's some heat on that joint. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, fuck your insecurities is hot. That's where you guys have that moment of clarity and be like, you know, I've been secure. I've been secure for 7 tracks. Let me tell you what I think about your insecurities. I'm like, wow.
7 tracks. That's what's up. That's real talk. Yeah, man. I was like, it's therapeutic, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like art, especially like, writing and you doing vocals, like the physical aspect of doing the vocals, stuff like that. It's very therapeutic. So it feels good, like, you know what I'm saying, to go deep like that and make it like relatable to other people. Yeah, it's like the vibe.
Yes, I know we're rounding out the hour here. We might be approaching some final thoughts, but when Novak brought up the Nether brands, because again, like I feel like you tap into this whole different world whenever you collab with them. I obviously loved when you dropped the album with them last year, and then you did some more work with them in the past. But like that Sad Boy Summer track too, or that Sad Boy Summer project was nice because I know you were featured on it. Smoke Benito was on there as well. But bro, man, I don't know, it just feels like they tap into this different layer of the sound that y'all got cooking up in your own incubator. You know what I mean? And it's just a blessing, bro. Like I just appreciate y'all pushing the content out, in general.
Appreciate the support, man. It's just like, yeah, I feel like working with other friends is like, you really have to be honest and like direct because of the speed of the process.
Yeah.
So so a lot of like the what I'm saying, the woo woo, like all that shit is out the window. It's what's on your mind in that moment. You know what I'm saying? And I think that I like that approach for myself. And yeah, man, I just I'm trying to just continue with the art and keep pushing it along and what I'm saying, continue like to grow with it, what I'm saying, and continue to build out my career as a creative.
It makes sense. I mean, like that evolution, I mean, between 2013 and 2024 is phenomenal. And, it's like I'm just waiting. I'm waiting to see what new personas are going to appear, in the coming years.
Yeah, I don't know, I might not switch up the what I'm saying, the branding, but in terms of like the art, yeah, it's going to continue to evolve. And yeah, I think I kind of mentioned that too, like a lot, and like my raps and everything like that. I'm just kind of like, I feel like I haven't hit like my best yet. You know what I'm saying? I feel like my best work is ahead of me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm just gonna continue to push it, man. I'm inspired by, what I'm saying, the musicians of the world, man. They play saying to like, what I'm saying, like an old age, what I'm saying? Just like continue to like evolve their art. So that's what I want to do, what I'm saying, for myself.
It makes sense. I mean, I guess right now you looking at, waiting for that off the wall project.
Right, exactly.
That, that one that comes out that makes Thriller or Beat It seem like it makes it seem like it was an afterthought at that point in time.
Exactly. That's what I'm looking for, man. And I know it's coming. It's about doing the work, and it's not easy, but I love it. So I know what's coming.
That's what's up, man. So I'll let Novak finish us out here with some final thoughts, but I appreciate you, Surf, man, for diving in with us, bro.
Appreciate you having me, man, and all the support, man. It means everything to me, man. Like honestly.
I appreciate you coming on the show, Lauren. Definitely. Just want to say, definitely, thank you for coming on. Everybody get ready for some new music coming that direction. This guy's brought us some of the craziest tracks, man. Some of the best tracks, like that Carbon Pumpkins, man. That was my kid listening to that one the other day. It was just like Kids Trap Halloween. I was like, get out my playlist. So they find music you're listening to, and they start listening to it, and she was like, "This is catchy." I'm like, "Stop for your mom figure out what you're listening to."
Right.
But at the same time, man, thank you for coming on. We appreciate you, Corn. We look forward to getting you back on the show. Maybe get you on to Nether Friends so we can understand a little bit more of that creative process you guys go through, or get you on with Dave and a few other people in Rockwell. I mean, I think that'd be an awesome show.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm come back like whenever.
Oh, we definitely got you, man. But yeah, definitely go out there and listen to something dope today, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to try something new. All
It's
right,
real. It's real.
All
Thanks.
right,
Guys.
cool. We appreciate you, man. I'm about to get back to the world of corporate America, which I'm trying to escape. You know, I feel like some days, like I was telling one of my guys the other day, I'm envious of barbers because they get to pick their own schedule. You know, when you work with somebody, it's like, man, I got to be on this meeting at what time? All right, I got it. Yeah.
That's what's.
All right, man. You be easy, man. I'll let you.
All right, bro. Yeah, man. Thanks a lot.
Oh, it's a scene, man. Stacking big salad, black jerry, puffy shirt, legendary, eating good, egg whites, joy boy, got a different shorty every night. What's the deal? I'm so ill. Black drop top with the griffin on the wheel. Saw, I'm in 5A, my homie 5B. Crank West 81st block is where you find me. I be slam dunking hoes like LeBron B. Keep that Panya Newman energy from round me. Black and white cookie, Ovaltine, Why they call it oval? That shit round B. I'm stacking big salad, black jerry, puffy shirt, legendary, eating good, egg whites, joy boy, got a different shorty every night. Tippy toe, surfboard back with the trippy flow. I was in the pool swimming lifeguard bullshit, now we selling wolf tickets like Thibodeau. Rap game, Elvin Thibodeau. Bitch saying surfboard was the illest out, trying to let shorty know she can get it on with a bigger nose. I put that on baby, you gotta see the baby. Put that stroke up on her, made a Joe Davola crazy. Jerry love the ladies, I used to fuck with Laney. Broski got the plug uptown, but me no fuck with Yankees. I'm stacking big salad, black jerry, puffy shirt, legendary, eating good, egg whites, joy boy, got a different shorty every night. I'm stacking big salad, black jerry.
Thank you for listening to the HipPodHedz podcast, a podcast where Novak and No Sage discuss their hip hop inspired moments. Share, like, subs, comment to the show on YouTube and Spotify. Go out and listen to something dope today.